I really think that the flaw here is an ISA. The normal ISA is and realtor is not trained to have an indirect, nuanced conversation. They
Well,
just
for
don't
the
know how
last
to do
five
it.
years, they haven't. It's been the same thing has worked for 5 years. That has always worked. The speed to lead model, and that's not the same story today.
No, no, it's not because urgency is down.
Barry, thanks so much for joining us on Ask the Expert today. I'm stoked to have you, and we can chat about all things Revaluate, Ylopo, Follow Up Boss, marketing, lead gen. What else? What else are we going to talk about?
I'm just excited to talk to you because I feel like with the way that the market is, everybody's looking to double down on what they have. And a lot of us have databases, and Revaluate allows me to comb through my database. And so it's kind of a tool that allows me to just build off of what I've spent millions of dollars over my career to try to create. It's another refining that takes place. And so I think it's kind of one of those now messages, and I'm excited to talk about it. All of this is about where the consumer is at in the process. So a Zillow lead that wants to sell has clearly identified they want to move by XYZ date. They're relocating out of the area, for example. So they go to Zillow and say, can you have an agent contact me? They have clarity around their needs. And Zillow has created a type of lead that is so good that that's why they charge so much money. So then you have companies that, like Ylopo, for example, that has built a business around leads that maybe they don't have exact clarity around their needs, but they're going to Google. They're researching, right? Their intent is to find more information. The challenge there is if an agent calls them and says, hey, what kind of home do you want? They're almost always going to say, I don't know yet. Call me in 6 months. And then the agent is frustrated by that. And they're like, these people, they don't know what they want, right? And it's because they're having the wrong conversation. Instead of saying, what kind of home do you want? You should say, hey, I know you're not ready, but what do you want to change about where you live whenever you do decide to move? That subtle shift of question, which it doesn't require certainty on behalf of the consumer. Now the lead can actually answer the question. You have substantive conversations, solve their problems. In my mind, Revaluate is actually helping me find people that they are a good candidate to move, and they just haven't realized it yet. Not always. We've had instances where the person says, I'm glad you called, yada, yada, this situation just occurred, big life change, when can you come over? We've certainly had that, but we've never called people and said to them, hey, are you considering moving? We always start with a very indirect, with Zillow leads, because the consumer has certainty, you can be direct and it crushes it. With everything else that agents can access as far as lead gen, everything else, you need to have indirect, subtle questions so that the consumer can begin to talk to you about what it is they want. For us, when we get a homeowner that has a likely to move score, all we say to them is, hey, we know people wanting to move into your neighborhood. Do you know anybody that would be open to the discussion of selling their home? This indirect question about somebody else in the neighborhood, because of their life circumstances, they connect the dots on their own. They say, actually, I'm so tired of this second story, or actually, we just had a baby, or actually, I just got married. I don't want to live here anymore anyway, right? That's the whole purpose of the data, is to find people whose life circumstances are such that they're primed to talk to a realtor, and many times they just don't know it. So when you hire an ISA to solve this problem, most ISAs are trained to look for certainty. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? They don't know how to be indirect. They haven't been trained. Now that's changing as the markets change. Like I just got off a call with a team with 7 ISAs, and they're like, Barry, we need you to teach these ISAs how to talk to the consumer that isn't ready and doesn't know what they want. We're failing and we need help. And I think that as the market becomes more challenging over the next 12 to 24 months, and urgency goes down, certainty goes down, the agents and the teams that would adapt to a lessened degree of urgency, they're going to be the ones that crush it. Whereas everybody else is looking for that next hot lead, I'm over here fishing in a pond of people that agents aren't talking to these people the way that I am. I'm able to form relationships with people that other agents aren't. These Revaluate leads, they're not going to Facebook saying, does anybody know an agent? They're not going to Zillow saying, can you give me a CMA? They're not there yet. And that's the opportunity. Because I'm not saying it takes a year, because I can already hear an agent asking me, well, how long does it take? How long does it take for a Revaluate lead that's moving? How long does it take to convert? And to that, I say, are you going to be a part of the discussion, or are you going to wait for them to raise their hand? If you're going to wait for them to figure it all out on their own and be 100% transaction ready, it will probably take a long time, 6 to 12 months. On the inverse of that, though, is if you're going to call them, use indirect questions, frame the conversations to where you actually become relevant to them, it's not going to take long at all, because their life circumstances have changed. That's the point of the data. That's why it's such a great opportunity, especially with the way that the scores adjust, and you can sort based on biggest score to lowest score.
Mm-hmm.
You can basically say, there's an assumption here, because I trust your data, I'm going to focus my team on the people that are the most likely to move. Something about their life, they're going to really appreciate these indirect questions about, do you know anybody that's considering moving? I know somebody in the area that wants to buy.
Is the ISA the first interaction that these people have had with your brand? Have they seen ads? Are you doing other digital advertising that they're being warmed up to? Or is the phone call from the ISA asking that awesome question that you gave us the first thing that they're hearing from you?
When you combine digital marketing and email marketing, social media marketing, with your service, it does amp it up. In fact, one of the things I've told people is that, in my mind, Revaluate allows me to, instead of spending $1 per person on 1,000 people and spending $1,000, I'm able to spend $10 a person on 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just using math to illustrate a point.
Yep.
Instead of spreading it out and hoping to see if something can pop, it's a hyper-focused opportunity for me to spend more time and more money on specific people that are the most likely to transact. So
Just listed, just sold campaign, but with Revaluate data as a layer.
Sold. Yes, just listed, just sold. We've found that just listed, just sold, it allows you to be relevant in a way that generic marketing isn't. And I think agents, we all know this. That's why we door knock when we have a new listing.
Yeah.
You know, it's because we're relevant to the neighborhood. And so just listed, just sold works really well with a call to action for a CMA. And then we have equity reports that we send out through Ylopo, which is baked on top of HomeBot for now. And so we're emailing them equity. We're mailing them postcards. We're calling them saying, do you know anybody in the area? I jokingly call it land, air, sea, right? We're approaching it from all directions.
Yeah. I've heard you use that analogy before. I like it. And it's very apropos for sure.
Yeah.
So you wear a lot of hats, and one of those hats is even author. Should we do a quick plug for your book?
I'd be happy to. Yeah. So I wrote a book on a whim 3 years ago called Too Nice for Sales. It finally published, I think, 2 years ago. And for the last 10 months now, it's been an Amazon bestseller. I've been told people are buying it and giving it to their agents. So, they'll read it and then send it out. So it's a collection of stories that I built in my tenure as the head realtor in residence at Ylopo. Of course, there is a shout out for Revaluate in the seller chapter where I tried to give a roadmap to people, for agents to find potential homeowners.
Yeah, thank you for that plug. That was unexpected and awesome, and
you're welcome.
That is much appreciated.
Yeah, my pleasure, buddy.
So we have been talking a little bit about the Revaluate scoring process and very likely movers, but we recently launched a whole new suite of products that we call the report card. And you've had the chance to look at that before the rest of the agent world was aware of it being around.
Yeah.
And I was kind of wanting to chat a little bit about your impressions of that data, because inside the report card we have this this upgrade for RealStat that allows you to see how many dollars in GCI that you've lost in the last 12 months. So we took the approach of, hey, nice real estate agent, let me punch you in the gut and tell you what has gone wrong here in your marketing in the last 12 months. When you saw that data, what was your visceral reaction to saying, hey, you lost X dollars of commission in the last 12 months?
I mean, look, this is a mindset topic. When I see failure, I know that it's a stepping stone to success. So for me, when I saw that number, instead of being down about it, you got my attention, to be candid with you. It got my attention because I said, okay, hold on. That is revenue that could have lined my pocket that I didn't. So let me reverse engineer these failures, find out where the missed opportunities are so that I can change my internal processes. That includes maybe smart list tweaks, that includes training. So in some of the instances of lost commission, we did find the opportunity. My agent did make the call. My agent did not set the appointment successfully. They did not overcome the objection the way that they should have. And so for me, the value in seeing the missed opportunities is that I can stop the bleeding so that in the future, I can capitalize on those opportunities. Building a database has been near and dear to my heart for a very long time. It's why I have over 250,000 people in my CRM right now. And so the fact that you can say, Barry, these are markets these are areas in your market that you don't have a lot of contacts. And the fact that you can scan that area, find likely to move buyers and sellers, and then I can purchase that data from you, that's super valuable. It's data to help me direct my marketing dollar, direct my resources from ISAs and agents, open houses, things like that. I think that the challenge, if I'm just being candid with you, that the Revaluate user is going to have with this data is they're going to see it and they're going to say, oh, okay, cool. And so I just want to challenge everybody that's watching this. When you get this data and you see you're failing in an area, whether it's a specific market, losing listings to a specific agent, successful people obsess about that stuff. They want to learn. They want to grow. And so I really want to challenge everybody that's watching this. If you see areas that you're weak in, you need to do some research and you need to double down and you'll be better for it. It's like I always say, the challenge that we're facing in our life, typically wrapped up in overcoming that challenge, is the opportunity that we've been looking for. People see me and they say, wow, Barry, you've got this big business, you're doing all these great things. It's because I persevered through challenge that's made me who I am today. And so that data is an opportunity for them to confront their failures in a way that right now I'm not aware of anybody else that provides it. And so it's just a great opportunity for people.